Okay, this is video 2 on unit conversions. Now what we're going to do in this video is start talking about metric prefixes and how that relates to unit conversions. So we're going to jump right in. When we do unit conversions in this class, I want you to be using the factor label method. It's also called dimensional analysis, which you can see up here on the board. In order for you to be competent in this, there's a few things you need to be able to do. One of them is you need to know your metric prefixes. You don't need to know all of them. The ones that I am requiring you to memorize are milli, centi, and kilo. Now, by looking up here at the board, let's take a look at what each of those prefixes means. A milli is 1/1000th of something, okay? So if you have a millimeter, you have 1/1000th, a teeny tiny little measurement of a meter, okay? So milli means 1/1000th. You could also write that as 0.001. They both mean 1,000th, right? 10th, 100th, 1000th. Centi means 100th. Again, this is 1/100th of something, which is why we have a cent, a penny. It is 1/100th of a dollar, okay? That's where that came from. So it doesn't mean 1, it means 1/100th, a fractional part. You could also write this one as 0.01. And the third metric prefix that you need to measure is kilo. You need to memorize, which is kilo is 1,000. So if I have a kilogram, okay, that's 1,000 grams. If I have a kilometer or a kilometer, that is 1,000 meters. And if I would have a kiloliter, which is pretty unusual, that would be 1,000 liters. So those are the three prefixes I want you to just have memorized, what they mean. Why? Because then when we start using those in our unit conversion relationships, you know what they mean. So for example, 1,000 milliliters would be 1 liter. Because this is 1,000th, there have to be 1,000 of them in the next unit up, which is a liter. If I'm looking at centimeters, I know that there would be 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Again, that centi is a fractional part, so I have 100 of these would make up one of those. Now, kilo is not a fractional part. Okay, these two, remember both of these are fractional parts, meaning they're all less than 1. Kilo is 1,000. So if I had a kilometer, that's actually 1,000 meters. So you need to memorize or understand. First, you need to know them, but I want you to understand them as well. So what I mean by understanding, I have in my hand, this is a graduated cylinder, which we will be using a lot in chemistry. Okay, I'm going to turn it so you can see the graduated markings on it, okay? So if you can kind of see there, see those little tiny lines on there? Those are the lines of milliliters, okay? So each one of these tiny little lines, see how small they are? That represents 1 milliliter. So compare that to a liter. There would be 1,000 of these in 1 of these. Okay, so why do I want you to get a picture of it? Because when we're going to do the unit conversions, I want you to start thinking about what your answer should look like. So what I mean by that is if we are working in converting from milliliters, I'm going to take this away, from milliliters to liters, from small, something that is a small measurement to a larger measurement, is the form of my number in the end going to get bigger or smaller? Well, if I'm going from milliliters, which are tiny, to liters, the form is going to get smaller. Now remember, back to unit conversions, we're not changing the value, we're just changing the form of it. But if I'm going from milliliters to liters, the form of my number is going to decrease because these things are tiny compared to this. Okay? If I'm going from meters, which is a larger unit, to centimeters, which is a smaller unit, I have an example of that as well. Here's a meter stick. I can't even get the whole thing in the video screen, right? That's a meter stick. And this is a ruler which has centimeters on it. Now, if you look at, I have it right side up, I have it upside down. If you look at the numbers on here at the top, not the bottom. Oop, there we go. My video is making a mess here. See those little 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. Those are each centimeters. So that's a small unit, right? So if I'm going from meters, which are larger units, to centimeters, what's going to happen to the form of my number? Well, the form of my number is going to get larger. Again, not the value is the same. Now, why do I care about that? Because when you start working in chemistry and you're doing unit conversions, you should have a sense in your mind of whether your number is going to become smaller or larger as you do the unit conversion. And that will just be a little double check for you as to whether you've set the problem up correctly. Okay, so those are the things I want you to understand. If you don't know these metric prefixes, you just need to work on memorizing them. You don't have to memorize them all, but these ones up here, these ones you need to know.